few months back, I did a video on fashion in the auto industry. I had planned to do a section on cars designed for women, but the more I looked into it, the more the entire concept appeared to be a bunch of BS. First off, it suggests that cars are normally designed specifically for men. If this is true, then how so? If we presume that cars for men would be masculine, does this mean big, brutish, and muscular? Does that mean that trucks are designed for men? Some men seem to think so, but many women would disagree. It would also mean that cars for women should be more feminine. So what? Small, light, agile, or cute? Certainly cute cars are more often bought by women, but men do buy the same cars, and often for the same reasons. Kia recently replaced Nissan as the brand with the highest percentage of female buyers. In fact, similar statistics would suggest women tend to buy cars that are smaller and cheaper. Does this support the masculine versus feminine concept? Well, Porsche is traditionally the brand with the biggest percentage of male buyers. But Porsches are small, light, and agile, if not cute. And they greatly increased their percentage of female buyers by adding a masculine SUV to the lineup. Cost statistics would suggest men are more likely to buy expensive cars. Once we get past the comments on a midlife crisis and overcompensating for other issues, these statistics are misleading, as when a couple purchases a car together, the man is usually considered the primary purchaser, meaning the stats for women, at least to a degree, often represent just single women, and couples are more likely to make higher-end purchases, either due to a greater combined income or due to the growth of the number of members of the household. And yet, family cars are more associated with the wife. Minivans are for soccer moms, after all, and luxury SUVs, the trophy wife. Which is not to be mistaken with the so-called chick car, an often derogatory term used to suggest style over substance, which can range from anything from a coupe based on a generic family car to a base version of a performance car. Cars more often driven by college students of both sexes, who in many cases can't afford the car that they really want. Cars that actually appeal to the elusive youth market, although that doesn't necessarily mean they are bad cars. And these are not the same thing as cars designed for women. Most cars designed for women have no more significant changes than pastel colors and seat patterns. Essentially the same concept as designer series cars, with colors and materials suggested by fashion designers. Names such as Gucci, Cartier, Versace, and Pierre Cardin, to name but a few. But these names were used to create a more stylish image, and were not marketed specifically to women. And why would they be? Certainly they can come up with more than just more stylish color options. And if it is more stylish, why wouldn't they be using it anyway? But they have made actual attempts to design cars specifically for women. Like Volvo's 2004 YCC, designed by women for women. It was a hybrid with run-flat tires and keyless entry. Reasonable features for a prototype of the period, but it was perhaps the most sexist car ever made. The inner panels were easily interchangeable so you could stay up on the latest color trends, and it had a space for a ponytail in the headrest, with no gas cap so you won't break a nail, and the hood didn't open, so you had to take it to a certified mechanic, or even more likely, the dealership, and it would even set up an appointment for you to help avoid those blonde moments. Not only does this suggest that women shouldn't work on cars, but that men do. I'm sure none of the female YouTubers whose channel is focused on automobiles would take any offense to that. Of course, it was never put into production, perhaps because it couldn't accommodate a man bun. Actually, most attempts for female-oriented features have been more meaningless, such as the flower vase in the so-called New Beetle. Not just a chick car, but a hippie chick car. At least that seemed to be what Volkswagen was aiming for. In the late 50s, Cadillac offered a vanity case with a lipstick holder, powder puff with powder, coin purse, gold-plated mechanical pencil, leather-bound notebook, and classic French perfume that I won't even attempt to pronounce. But they also offered a cigarette case. None of this made the Cadillac a chick car, no matter how many pink ones Elvis bought. And premium brands would continue to offer promotional accessories, from sunglasses to sweatshirts to coffee mugs. Most neither masculine nor feminine, or purchased, but the sort of thing that many collectors go nuts over. I would think the Rolls-Royce door umbrella feature would have been copied more. It certainly is more functional. Convenience features such as power brakes and steering and automatic transmissions were often marketed towards women, usually suggesting that women were less capable. So easy, even she can drive it. Meaning that men were what? Not lazy enough to be interested? I have yet to see an ad that says, because you're too much of a man for power steering. Although, if I saw an ad that said, because you're too butch for an automatic, I might be okay with that. It said that part of the reason running boards went away is that they got dresses and skirts dirty when stepping out of a vehicle. Does that make lack of running boards a feminine feature? Because they never dirtied a pant cuff? In the US at the time, removing the running boards was considered the European look. Would that mean European cars were more feminine? So you may be wondering, what would I consider to be a feminine feature? Well, none. And yet, all of them. I mean, I can't say I've never used a vanity mirror. And things like vanity kits are not really a relevant feature of the car, or likely to sway a buyer to purchase a specific model. Women, like men, are going to purchase a car that meets their needs and likes. And that may include power accessories. Adjustable seats, steering column, and pedals can certainly improve the driving experience, particularly in cars with multiple drivers of various sizes. And programmable memory settings make that even easier, which would typically mean that they are features for both men and women. My wife suggests that swivel seats and suicide doors would certainly make cars more accessible by pregnant women, although I doubt those are the only people that might find that an advantage. And let's not forget, women have played an important part in the auto industry from the beginning. It's unlikely Carl Benz would have had the early success he did without the assistance of his wife Bertha, whose impact has earned her a place in the Automobile Hall of Fame. Having helped create one of the first automobile companies, she would hardly be the last woman involved in automobile development or marketing. And women have also been involved in racing from the beginning, long before Danica Patrick was even thought of. Such as Helen Nice, model, dancer, skier, and one of the top female racers of the late 1920s and through the 1930s, competing in multiple Grand Prix, hill climbs, and the Monte Carlo Rally. Or Kay Petra, who after being injured in a crash at Brooklands in 1938, a crash caused by another driver, went on to do development work for British Motors and later became an automotive journalist. There were the Dancing Daughters all-female MG Le Mans team in 1935, the Baroness Dorndorf, Dorothy Patton, early NASCAR drivers of the late 1940s such as Sarah Christian and Louise Smith, although Janet Guthrie was the first woman to compete in the Indy 500, the Daytona 500, and the Winston Cup. Then there's three-time NHRA world champion Shirley Muldowney, who got her top fuel license in 1973, with female racers still being a force to be reckoned with. And many of these racers were involved in their own mechanical work as well. Heck, even Queen Elizabeth worked on vehicles dating back to when she was still an actual princess. And in spite of a continuing trend of female racers feeling a need to paint their cars pink in an effort to more easily identify themselves as women racers, the majority of pink, purple, and pastel cars I've seen have been driven by men. So in short, every car is a chick car, or at least can be. So as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below and like and subscribe.